Okay, so we are going to push it up a bit and try to understand the calculation of determinants of a 3 by 3 matrix. Now, here we're going to use method 1, then we'll look at method 2 in the next video. So here, we've got a matrix like this. We looked at this before. These are positions. Remember we said A, I, J. So these indicate the columns and the rows. Okay, so the first one is the row, the second is the column. So you can see this position here is 1 1 because this is column row number 1 and column number 1. If you come here, you have 1 2. Okay, so it means that you're still on the first row. You see 1 1 1 first row, but the columns are changing 1 2 3. Same here, row number 2 2 2 2, but then you're changing the columns 1 2 3, and this will be the same. And this shows you that it's a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, and so we understand the structure of a 3 by 3. This is a square matrix. Okay, and so the next important step that we need to understand is the signs that are involved with the 3 by 3. So this is something that you have to master. Okay, we'll explain the application of these other ones, but for determinant we are focused on the first line only. So this line here. Okay, but this there's no way that you try and work it out in the exam. You just have to master it beforehand. So there's several ways in which you can try to remember this. So you have positives in the corners here. Okay, for a 3 by 3, you have positives in the corners, and then all the diagonals, like the main one, which is from here to there, and this one down here, in fact from here to there, they're all positives. So the only places where you find negatives are the remainders, which is 1 2 3 4. So again, positives in the corners. Okay, positive, 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 and then the diagonals are all positive, positive, and positive. The only negatives you find 1 here, 2 there, 3 here, and 4 there. Okay, this is how you master those. Okay, now to calculate the determinant from this situation here, we get the first row. Okay, the signs from the first row, and then we get the elements from the first row as well, to lead us with the generation of this concept here. So how do we work it out? We use a combination of this and that. Okay, so how do we do it? We go to the first term. Like I said, we use the first row. You'll see that I got this one. I used it for the first part. I got that one. I used it for the second part. I got that one. I used it for the third part. These are non-negotiable. You have to know them. Okay, and so then we got the signs as well from here. Okay, so we have a positive here, we have a negative next here, and then we have a positive here. Okay, so using the first line here. Okay, when we come to when we get to a point where we start to do inverses, we'll actually go and use this. But for now, for determinant, you just use the first portion here. Again, you just use the first portion here, the first row. Okay, so the signs you get from the first row, these numbers here outside the these you also get from the first row, right? So now we've got these numbers. Now the supporting cast has to be these ones here. Okay, these. How do you obtain them? You obtain them by removing. Okay, whenever you select this, okay, so I've selected that to be used here. Okay, then what I have to do is I have to ignore its row, I have to ignore its column. What I pick to use here is only those terms that are not involved in the columns of in the column and row of A11. So I take A11. I need to make sure that I ignore this. I need to make sure that I ignore that as well. Then whatever is remaining, which is going to be here, that is what I use here. Okay, Again, the term is going to come from here, the first one, and that's the one that I bring out here. The sign came from here. Okay, so I've got this combination here. The support to this has to be here now. Okay, it has to be here. So this comes from ensuring that this row where this term of mine is involved, I don't take any term there. I need to make sure that I take only those terms which are not associated with my term that I've picked. Okay, so that would be the first one. Okay, now let's look at the second one. So the second term, I said we're only using the rows, the first row. Okay, so that's why you see it's A12. Then I go and get its sign from there. That's here as well. Okay, then what do I do now? I go to this term. I make sure, maybe with my pencil, I take out that row, that column and that row. I make sure that these are not involved. Okay, so I have A12, A21, A31, A23, and A33, because those are not involved either in the row or the column of my second term. Then I go and do my third term. I need to make sure I don't use this column, I don't use that row. So what is remaining is what is here. And what is here is A12, A21, A21, A22, A22, A31, A31, and then A32. A32 is there. Okay, so now that is the concept. And then now to get the actual value, because we've collected our terms, now we're just going to say A11. Okay, now you put in brackets. So I'm going to multiply A22, okay, A33 minus A23, A32. I follow on with the negative here, A12. This will become A21 times, remember we're crossing when we're doing the 2 by 2. Now these are 2 by 2 determinants, so we know how to do this. This is A33 minus A23, A31, like that. Then I go on to say plus this portion here, A13 or A13. Then I get A21, A32 minus A22, A31. Okay, so this is determinant of A. All right, so this is the theory. Now we'll do an example. Okay, so we've been given the matrix, which is A is 5, 5, 2, 1, 2, minus 3, then 5, 2, 14, and they've asked us to find the determinant. So we'll say determinant of A. Now on the side, we always need to have our signs. Now our signs are plus, minus, plus, and then minus, plus, minus, and then we have plus, minus, plus. So this is something that has to be mastered. Okay, you always write it down somewhere near your work so you can pick those up. Okay, so we say that the determinant of this is, you don't have to remember the formula, you just have to know what you're doing. So we said that we get the first term, which is this one, so 5. And then we said that we are going to have this as positive, and then we're going to get the terms which are not in line with that 5. So we're going to have 2, 2, minus 3, 14. And then we'll go take a sign from there and put it here. Okay, so that would be 5, right? 5, this 5 here. So we make sure that this line and that line do not get involved. So we just have this one and that one. Okay, so that's 1, 5. Let me just, okay, so 1, 5, right? And then minus 3, 14. So these ones here. And then we go plus 2 because we're getting this and that. Okay, and then now we make sure that this line and that one are not involved, so meaning that we just have these two sets left. So we have 1, 5, and then we have 2, 2. Okay, I always check my first and last have to be the same, so this is 2, 2, 2, 2 there. Okay, so I know that I'm close to doing the right thing. Okay, so now I do 5. Okay, 5. Okay, so we have 5. Then we're going to do like we did for the 2 by 2 determinant. So we're going to have 2 by, so this is 14 by 2, which is 28. 28 minus 6. Okay, then here we have minus 5. Then here we have 14 minus 15. Okay, then plus 2. Then here we have, remember we are crossing here, so this is 2 minus 2 minus 10. Okay, so now here we're going to have 5. This is going to be 28 plus 6, which is 34, and this is going to be 5, like that, and then this is going to be 14 plus 15, which is 29, and then this is going to be 2 times 8. Okay, like that. Now here we're going to have, we can factorize the 5, 34 minus 29, and then plus 16. So we can come here and then have a 5 here, and then here we're going to have, sorry, this is minus 8. That's minus 8. We just need to be a lot more careful with the negatives. Okay, minus 16 there. So here we have 34 minus 29, which will give us a 5, and then here it will be minus 16, like that. So now we're going to have 25 minus 16, which is going to give us a 9. Okay, so this is method number 1. We are going to look at method number 2 in the next video. All the best, and subscribe and share with your friends.